It's time for the breakdown. Coming live right now.
Welcome to In the Loop. I'm your host, Nina Haille Dixon. Viewers, today's show is all about making dreams become reality. We're here with two dynamic gentlemen who have put their vision into perspective, and they've come out with a great book presented by The Breakdown with Dave Audley called Basketball Talk the Way It Should Be. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hey,
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having us, man. This is great. This is great.
This is wonderful. Honestly, I've read this book and I am just astonished with how much support you've had on this. You had quotes from celebrities like slam dunk champion Blake Griffin.
Yep.
You have Cardinal official, which everybody knows,
Local
which is from our
Cardinal,
city as
yeah.
well.
Boop, boop.
Monique, Vivica A. Fox,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
forward, of course, written by Jaleel White, aka Steve Urkel.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
That's
You
right.
guys, tell us about this and how you paired up, first of all, to create this.
Yeah, well, you know, the book, and again, thanks for having us
For
here.
sure.
It's a pleasure.
The book really, it's 3 years in the making. We had a basketball podcast,
Yep.
Dave and I, for the last 3 years, and we have tons of guests that have come on the program and they share, and the whole program is about having a lot of fun, talking hoops, and having a good time. And we got to the point where we sat back and looked and we said, wow, we've had a lot of really great conversations, a lot of fun with a lot of different people.
Right.
How we'll compile all this great stuff into one book. And that's essentially what we did, and it's been a lot of fun, man.
Excellent. Oh my gosh, I could tell. And you know what I loved about the book as well? The fact that the quotes that you have in the book show how much the players, especially that wrote quotes, how much they respect their peers within the field as well. So I'd like to know, and I'm sure the viewers
Sure.
would like to know as well, how did you meet up with all of these players to get all of these wonderful quotes? And of course, the celebrities that supported as well.
Well, the thing is, it's sort of like that KFC secret recipe you can't really reveal. I would just say Google.
Okay.
That's been a great ally with us. But
Yeah.
we've been
Right.
very fortunate. We've established a lot of relationships with various people over the years. And you leverage those relationships in order to get other people on board as well. So we've been very fortunate. But it's really, a lot of it's persistence,
Yes.
resourcefulness,
Yeah.
always finding different organizations we can help so they
Right.
could also help us as well in terms of getting us guests. So we've been very lucky. There's been a lot of great people who have assisted us along the way.
Right.
And one of the byproducts is that book.
Is
Yeah.
this book.
And I mean, again, it's the relationships. I mean, so much of what we built,
Yep.
and we work hard at establishing credibility and that we want to be a reputable place to come and talk hoops or talk what you're doing or whatever. So it's a combination of a whole bunch of things.
Right.
yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Google being one of them.
That's it.
Now, before this book, gentlemen, and before the podcast, before the breakdown show, what were you guys doing?
Wow.
What were you doing?
I was hanging out.
What were
man.
you doing?
It's interesting going back to the origins of this.
Yes.
It happened years before the show concept even took place.
Right.
I was working as an intern at the Score, a lonely
Okay.
intern at a sports station.
Right.
Dave was a big shot reporter, and
Wow.
and that's where he and I first met. And what was interesting was that our commonality at that time was that we both liked basketball.
Yes.
And then we were also both big fans of the New York Knicks, and we followed
Yeah.
them as well. And this was in the early stages of the Raptors. The Raptors had maybe a couple years in, so we were, there weren't a ton of people that were on the bandwagon that we were on.
That's right,
And that was our initial commonality, and the relationship just that's what formed. And
Developed from there.
then the interesting thing is that after that had ended, I went my way to
Yeah.
learn about me and live my life, and
Yeah.
he did his own thing, and
Yeah.
we reconnected of all places on good old Facebook, and
Wow,
we said, hey, let's do something, and here we are.
that's amazing.
But another thing that Audley and I share in common is the fact that in Canada, we find that basketball is not presented in the way that it should
be.
Like,
Right.
it's all about hockey up here. No offense to hockey. No offense.
Don't tick off anyone now. I can't afford to lose any viewers right now.
But I found, especially working in the sports media industry for many years, that's where a lot of the focus is on hockey, whereas
Yes.
basketball's been cast aside. But Audley and I, we wanted to create our own media outlet, our own way to express how basketball should be considered, something that
Amazing.
should be more important in the sports landscape up here in Canada. So that's something we shared in common. We're like, man, we got to put a show together that talks about hoops the way it should be. None of this
Exactly.
corporate stuff. That's not us.
Yeah.
I love that. I
And hence
love
the
that.
title of the book, Basketball Talk the way
it should be.
That's right.
And it's honest. It's passionate.
That's right.
Yeah.
It comes straight from the soul, right,
That's
guys?
it. That's
Totally.
it.
I
That's gotta be.
absolutely love that, and I love your enthusiasm. Just the way you guys talk about it and the glow that shows on
Yeah,
your
for
face
sure.
when you speak about your work with the breakdown in this book.
Yeah.
Viewers, you got to pick up a copy. You definitely have to pick up a copy. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a short break, but since we have a minute left, I want you to let the viewers just know a little bit more about where they can find this particular book.
Absolutely. The website is thebreakdownbook.com. That's where you can find where you can pick up your copy. We have an online ebook version, you get a paperback version. We have an audio ebook, so you can actually hear all the great quotes that you're reading.
Listen to it in your
and
car.
it's thebreakdownbook.com. Our website is thebreakdownshow.com, and that's where we give you Hoops Talk the way it should be.
Exactly. I wanted us to get that information in early because I know that the viewers are probably wondering how they can get a copy of this amazing book and, of course, how they can tune into your podcast
doubt.
as well, right? And listen, there's so much information on these two gentlemen here and the dynamic work that they're doing with within our community. So viewers, I want you to definitely stay tuned, keep in the loop. We're keeping you connected with Dave Mendonca and Mr. Audley Stevenson. We'll be back after this short commercial break. Viewers, welcome back to In the Loop. Today, we have a very exciting episode for you. For those of you that are just tuning in, we're here with Mr. Dave Mendonca and Mr. Audley Stevenson, co-authors of the Breakdown book, Basketball Talk the Way It Should Be, a baller and celebrity quote book.
That
Very,
sounds so cool.
very
That's
exciting.
nice. Cool.
Doesn't it?
I'm liking it. I'm
really
liking
does.
it.
It really does.
I'm liking it.
I'm the author, Audley Stevenson.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
That's right, and you guys are also the co-hosts, of course, the
That's
Breakdown.
right. The Breakdown
right,
Show.
The Breakdown Show.
That's right.
That's
Well,
right.
and what's really exciting about the show that we get pumped about all the time is that we get a lot of great guests. And what I'd encourage to your listeners or viewers that visit our website, thebreakdownshow.com. We got a tab there that says past guests.
Yes.
And when you click on that, you'll see the whole list of people we've talked to.
Who's who.
And yeah,
It's
I mean, come
ridiculous.
on, yeah.
Right.
I'd want to hang out with some of those people myself.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah.
Speaking about hanging out with some of the people, Mr. Jaleel White that wrote the foreword for you.
Crazy.
Wow.
How was that? Because I know that you guys have spoken very highly about
Right.
him.
Yeah.
You know what? One of my favorite guests of all time.
Yes.
This is a guy, we all know him from Family Matters, Steve
Yes.
Urkel and all that stuff. So personally, I didn't know what to expect from him.
Right.
I didn't know if he was going to be this low-key guy. Man, was I wrong. Because he got on the phone with us and he was just full of energy.
Amazing.
So funny. And he knows his hoops.
Passion. Yeah, he had a lot of passion for
My
basketball. It
goodness.
was incredible. You know, the best thing, and remember, I remember calling Dave. It was an hour after we spoke with Steve Urkel.
Right.
Yeah.
I call him Steve Urkel, but Jaleel White.
Yeah.
An hour after we spoke with him, I still had a headache because I had been
crazy.
laughing so
hard.
much.
Yeah.
Like he was hilarious. And again, passionate about basketball, loves the hoops, and a great guy to talk to. So it's really nice to see how his career has been reinvented, so to speak, because we've seen,
Yes.
you get typecasted in a certain role or a certain character,
And
then
that's kinda
that's
sticks
it.
with you.
Well, he's grown and he's become, something else, and it's great to see. And he's a great guy too. So
And that is so wonderful
Yeah.
to hear. Guys, I have to commend you on a job well done. You are doing
Good job,
so much work
Well
within our
done.
community.
Yeah.
And what I love about this as well is that all the proceeds that you've made from this book actually go to two charities of your choice. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, some of the proceeds of the book do go to the Aaron Oak Kids Foundation as well
Right.
as Epilepsy Halton Peel Hamilton. And these charities really have a special tie to each of us.
Right.
Audley has a young daughter who does have autism, and Aaron Oak, they do a great job helping parents and kids. You just, cope and deal and just really, improve the quality of life
Yes.
of children. So it's a great organization. And me personally, Epilepsy Halton Peel Hamilton, I used to have epilepsy as a child from age 4 to 12.
Oh, wow.
So for many years, I thought epilepsy was this terrible thing that I went through, but then I came to realize that you can use those experiences to help others. So for us, it was a slam dunk. Let's help these charities
Sure.
out.
That's
And,
amazing.
And then more importantly, what we want to do is have our own give back. So
That's
it's great to do stuff and get in, talk to celebrities and write books and all that kind of stuff. But there's no meaning, lasting legacy or anything that you've created that can be a benefit to someone else. Then it is what it is on the surface, and that's as far as it goes. Well, for us, it's very much, hey, what can we do to give back? How else can we help? Who will benefit from what we've done? And that's where I mean, for us, again, it was a slam dunk. It was a no-brainer. We had to.
Definitely. And you guys have done that in so many ways. And now you've even started a new initiative with former Toronto Raptor, John Wallace, right?
Yeah. John is in the book.
That's
crazy.
It was just kind of kept. Yeah, I know it is. John is in the book. And, John Wallace, former Toronto Raptor, he has so much love for the city of Toronto, and we speak often. He always tells me all the things, how much he appreciated his time here, appreciated the fans, and he right now he has a mentoring program based out of Buffalo, New York, where he resides, and he's back and forth. And it's a youth mentoring program. He encourages the importance of effort and trying, and the organization itself is called Winning Because I Tried. So
love that.
Yeah, and it exactly is. I think it's a great message. And he's doing fabulous work as is. And we thought, hey, look, let's create a literacy campaign. Let's get out in the community. Let's talk to schools. Let's talk to the young people the importance of reading.
Perfect.
I mean, reading is a platform of the NBA already. They've got the Reading Cares initiatives. So it makes sense and it fits. And so, that's the next step, and we're starting to roll that out now. So, hey, if you're interested in having John Wallace come to your school, hit us up, thebreakdownbook.com, and we'd love to make that happen.
You guys, that's absolutely fabulous. And I'm sure that the readers will appreciate this as well, because this is a book that, of course, is family friendly, right? I mean, you can read this with your children, you can read this amongst your friends, and there's just so much positive words of encouragement, support, and I think it sends such a great message, especially to youth. Now, speaking of basketball, we have our own new professional league as well.
Is that exciting?
Canada. It's so exciting. It's so exciting.
Long overdue, man.
That's right.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Especially because it's creating so many opportunities for people that are from our own backyard.
That's right.
City of Brampton, Mississauga, Oshawa, Toronto. Tell us how you guys feel about that and your involvement.
For me, the NBL Canada is huge, and the fact that you now have, as a professional, you can be a professional player in your own backyard.
I love that.
You don't have to wait. You don't have to try to get in the NBA or try to get overseas. You can play, right in front of your hometown, in front of your family. I mean, it's so. And when you think about it, let's tie this back in to young people and how important that is as a maybe young aspiring player having something to reach for. I mean, I think it's on so many levels. I'm really excited about it.
It's also affordable for families, right? Like if you can't afford a Raptors game, at least you have an option. Whereas before it was just the Raptors, and which is fine. The Raps are great and all, but as we know in these tough economic times, it's good to have different options.
I just hope you didn't tick off the Raptors with that comment. I'm just hoping. All right, I'm just hoping.
I'm sure.
Hey, I'm looking out for people, all right?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm sure they'll be all right, because it's all about us working together, right?
Exactly.
And I think with the new NBL that's here with that league and with the NBA, I think they can do some great stuff together.
Oh, absolutely. And at the end of the day, it's all furthering the sport of basketball.
That's it.
Right? If you're all passionate about it, you're all committed to it, your individual action, my individual actions, they're going to help increase the profile of the game. So I think it's great.
Absolutely.
On all levels.
Absolutely. Now, guys, let's get back into your book.
Yes.
I want to know, overall, with everybody that contributed to this book, by far, who has been, let's say, your favorite? I know it's a tough position to put you in.
It's like asking me which kid I love the best.
That's right.
Children,
Favorite? Like favorite quote you're saying?
Yeah, favorite quote.
Wow. For me personally, it's a story from Mr. Urkel.
Okay.
He was talking about Kobe Bryant when he was 17 years old, and he had just been traded from the Hornets to the Lakers.
Right.
So now back then, Kobe, he was always very driven, right? And he still is to this day.
He definitely is,
So when he was in California, he made it out to the UCLA campus, right? And when he did that, it was just a year after the Bruins won the national title. And Kobe wanted to make a statement. He went to Pauley Pavilion, which is UCLA's practice facility, right? So he goes there, no entourage, no nothing, just him and like a freaking bag over his shoulder.
Yeah.
He goes on to the court with the Bruins, who were practicing. Guys that were heroes the year before in the national title game, and he schools them. He goes up against Toby Bailey, one of the stars of that squad, absolutely schools him as a 17-year-old. Urkel tells us, he's like, I've never seen a 17-year-old dominate a guy like that in my life. And I knew two things. Number one, Kobe was going to be a superstar. Number two, Toby Bailey would not have a long NBA career.
If you had to cover Kobe, no.
Exactly. So that for me was the best.
That's amazing.
For me, chapter 10, and there's 10 different chapters.
Right.
Chapter 10 to me is probably my favorite one because it represents all it's called the T-Dot, and it's representing all the things that past players, celebrities, whatever, have said about the city of Toronto and how much it's meant to them. And you hear players talk about how much they love the city, how much they enjoyed playing here, how much they love Toronto, and there's a sense of Canadian pride within that chapter.
Right.
So I can't give you a quote. I'll give you an entire chapter.
Oh, that's wonderful, Audley. You know what? I couldn't ask for anything more. That's absolutely wonderful. I know that there's also a quote from Mr. Cardinal Official, which is actually a music artist, which a lot of people wouldn't expect, right?
Yeah.
And he actually quoted about Mr. Chris Bosh, right, when he was leaving Toronto. So I want you to shed a little bit of light on that, and how can we create basically a forum or maybe an atmosphere where our own players want to stay within their own backyards? How can we make it a friendlier environment?
I'll start from the second question too. I think what has to happen is ultimately at the end of the day, you have to establish a culture of winning, and you establish a culture and be committed to it.
Right.
So you'll hear NBA teams. They'll have at the beginning of the year, they got the championship banner up, or they got the trophy, or and that's what we're working towards. To have that goal, and every action that you make from day one all the way through is leading towards that championship. If you're not doing that, then there's questions of how committed you are to winning.
Right.
I don't think you can get around any other way. You have to.
Well, it's all about W's, right? And if you don't win, no one's going to come out, no one's going to care. But in regards to Cardinal, tell them about how you grew up with him.
Well, yeah, we're again childhood friends. This big city of Toronto, it's not as big as we think it might be. And,
right.
So we kind of grew up in the same area. Actually, he and my younger brother were really good friends, and he'd come over to my house once in a while. Play video games, and So for me, I've got a sense of pride seeing him where he's becoming, where he's gonna go, because he's just getting. The sky is the limit for him.
He's all over the map right now.
Absolutely. I mean, the Mr. International, he's traveling everywhere, and he's spreading his word. So for me, it's great to having him on the show is an honor, just because of what he represented and his love, as we all know, his love for the city of Toronto and how much he reps the T-Dot, right?
That's right. So. You guys, thank you so much for keeping us in the loop with that.
Always.
Now, I want to know, what advice would you give to a person aspiring to perhaps be the author of their own book someday, or even hosting their own show?
You got to be passionate about whatever it is. It has to come from here. You have to know your why. Why are you doing this? Why does it resonate? Because putting a book together, when we put that book together, it was like late nights, a lot of sacrifice. And it's one of those things, it's easy to get psyched up for the start of it. Yeah, I got a new project. And it's easy to get psyched up for the end, almost done. But it's that middle, what keeps you going, man, because you're working hard. So there has to be that strong why, and that'll get you through. But really, it comes down to passion.
Yes.
Like, will that drive you? What is it? You got to find that.
The passion is important, because at the end of the day, when you're passionate about something, you'll always be creative.
Correct.
You'll always be energetic.
Absolutely.
And you'll always want to keep working on it.
So right.
And I know for ourselves, going through this whole process, not even just the book, the show, it's always been about, late nights, and it's 3 in the morning and I haven't slept yet and I'm still going. Like, if that's not there for you, then you need to revisit what you're doing and then why you're doing what you say you want to do.
Exactly. Right. Actually, we only have 30 seconds, Dave. We're going to get into that story right after the commercial break. Viewers, I want you to stay tuned and keep in the loop. We're keeping you connected with Mr. Dave Mendonca and Audley Stevenson on their new book. So make sure you stick around. We'll be back after this commercial break. Welcome back to In the Loop, viewers. So glad you could be here today. We're here with Dave Mendonca and Audley Stevenson, and they are talking about their new book with us, keeping us in the loop with basketball talk the way it should be.
We've just been having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
This has been absolutely great. And Dave, actually, before we went to commercial break, you were going to get into a story.
Yeah, because we're talking about passion and the amount of work we put into the book. And there were times where Audley and I'd be over at Audley's house, and we'd be in front of the computer just arranging, what quote should go into what chapter.
Right.
And this guy, he works like a dog, man. It's crazy. Like, he never gets enough sleep. So we're like in front of his computer, and he's at his keyboard, and the eyes are like slowly closing. eyelids heavy, tough to open. But yeah, he practically, I swear, like, if I was not there, he would have taken a nosedive into his keyboard. You know what I
The
mean?
letter Y would have been planted on my forehead. That's
Well,
what
that just goes to show that you guys were very, very passionate about your work, and you absolutely
Definitely.
love what you're doing.
For sure.
Because we always say here at In the Loop, if you don't love what you're doing, then it just doesn't make sense,
why are you doing
right?
it? And again,
Exactly.
why are you doing what you're doing if you don't love it? 'Cause it's
Exactly.
going to feel like work.
Exactly.
Definitely.
It shouldn't feel like work. It should be fun. You should be excited about it.
Yeah.
You should always be looking forward to new opportunities. If that's not there, I'm sorry. Find another
Correct.
vocation.
Amen.
You're so right. Now, guys, I noticed that through my research and through reading this book, like I said, there's so much information within
Yes.
this book. And oddly, and Dave, you had your own personal
Sure.
professional
Yeah.
standpoints and careers before any of this ever took
Yeah.
place. So let's get into a little bit about that and even the hardcourtlessons.com.
For sure.
Yeah, you know, I think, and this is really important too, the fact that we are both our own individuals, you know, are two separate people that we came together with this venture. For myself, I'm really passionate about leadership development and really what that means in terms of how people can be personal leaders and the things that they can do to have an impact on other people. And I mean, I tweet stuff all the time about my passions along those lines. And so Hardcourt Lessons, it's my website, and it's a leadership development website. I'll bring on leadership experts, authors of books,
Amazing.
talk to them about, you know, their concepts, how that, and but it doesn't just stop them talking about their books. It's how we can take what they've presented to help individuals.
Right.
And again, if there's no takeaway from that, then why?
Exactly.
Right? So that was my whole thing, and I professionally speak on it. I've gone into schools and associations, and again, encouraging the importance of leadership development skills.
Everybody loves this guy. Kids love him, grandmas love him, they all love him.
Party
And then
favorite.
they love you too, Dave.
For
They
sure,
love you too.
sure.
And not only that, I have to point out that you've interviewed one of my favorite artists as well,
Yeah.
Miss Beyonce Knowles. You've just
Sweet
done about
woman.
everything. You guys together,
It makes
you're
sense.
a dream team.
Yes.
It makes sense.
So tell us about your personal career
I've
and
been-
aspirations as well.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I come from a sports and entertainment media background. Used to
Right.
be a national television sports reporter with The Score, so I interviewed a lot of like NBA guys, NFL guys, MLB, all that stuff.
Right.
Very cool, like Chris Bosh. I interviewed him as a rookie, so it's interesting to see how he's grown.
And how everybody's transitioned over the years.
Oh my
right?
God, no kidding. And I've also done some entertainment print journalism, so that's where I interviewed Beyonce for the Dallas Morning News, Jamie
Right.
Foxx, film.com. So I've been very fortunate.
Yes.
You know, I have a passion for sports and entertainment. So, you know, I'm also doing some acting a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I've been like,
so we can look out for you on the big
are you
screen.
laughing at me? Are you laughing at me?
Yeah, you know, he had a big role in the Incredible Hulk movie. It was a whole 3 seconds, but he was there.
I was on screen.
He was there.
I'm going to have to watch the movie
I was
again.
like Pacino in that walk.
Yeah.
But that's something I'd like to develop as well. So I've been very fortunate. I did some work on the new Total Recall movies. I don't know if I'll be in the film, but we'll see.
Wow. Okay. Well,
There you go.
listen, viewers, these are the gentlemen that live within our own community. Okay? You've got celebrities in your own backyard. Look at that. Now we have 1 minute left, gentlemen. I want you to let the viewers know where they can get a copy of the book. Again, for those that didn't tune in earlier, please let them know,
Yeah.
and also let them know that the proceeds go to the charities of your choice as well. I think that's very important.
Yes, for sure, everybody. Please check out thebreakdownbook.com. That's where you can find the book. The book's also available on Amazon Kindle, so that's pretty hyped up stuff. Some of the proceeds go to the Aaron Oak Kids Foundation and also Epilepsy Halton Peel Hamilton.
Two organizations that are in our area.
Yes.
Yeah, let's make that point.
Exactly.
We're not sending across country or to another planet.
Yeah.
They are in our communities and they are helping people that we live with.
That's
Absolutely.
it. There you
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks,
gentlemen.
it's been a
I really
pleasure.
appreciate it. Viewers, that's it for today's episode of In the Loop. I want you to stay tuned. We're here to keep you connected. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.